Hello and welcome to another episode of the Business Club or the Entrepreneurs Club. Today we're going to talk about characteristics of an entrepreneur. What makes you a business person, an entrepreneur? A lot of us have went to school or have a lot of experience somewhere, and so we just want to be employees. We're full-time employees. We work so hard, helping people make a lot of profit off our backs. But now we want to start our own business. We want to be that business person, that entrepreneur. So, what are some of those characteristics that we need to have? There's a few characteristics that we want to make sure that are kind of built in us as entrepreneurs. The first one, which is a very important one, is taking calculated risks. Taking calculated risks. In other words, someone that blindly takes risks is just stupid. Someone that blindly takes risk, you know what? Seems like a great opportunity. Let's just buy it. Let's just do it. Let's start this business. That's stupidity. On the other side, not taking risks, you'll never be successful in business or an entrepreneur. Not taking risks is not good. Blindly taking risks or too many risks is also not good. There's a balance in the middle called calculated risks. If you want to buy a store, do some research on it. Take a calculated risk. Well, let's see how the location, the traffic on the location. Why did the business before this close and now the store is available? If you want to buy something, some kind of a business from another person, look at their tax returns for the last 3 or 4 or 5 years. So you can make a decision on, was it growing? Was it failing? Are they telling me everything correctly? Take some time to do some research before you take that risk. Any form of business in the world can make money, can lose money. So what happens if we lose money? Do we have a contingency plan? Do we have a backup plan? And that's why it's very important. One key thing is if you're at that point where you're ready to start the business and you want to quit your job, my advice to you, or a general advice usually is, make sure you have saved up at least 6 months worth of money in the bank before you start your business. So in 3 months, 4 months, if the business is not working out and you quit your, and you need to stop it, and you need enough time to go back and find another job, you have some money saved up. Make even more, make it a blanket of at least a year, so that at least you have some time to kind of recoup what you're working with and also be able to get to work. That's part of a calculated risk, or an example of a calculated risk. You come up with the formula that works best for you. But in any business that you're doing, make sure calculated risks. There's no business in the world that's 100% guaranteed. So always try and see what happens if it fails. How could it fail? What could go wrong? But also look at what potential profits are there, and do your research on both the strength and the weakness of any business that you want to pursue. Calculated risks. Number two is, a business person, an entrepreneur, is someone that's always interested, enjoys what they do, excited about what they do. They're motivated about what they do. So you want to make sure you have that spark of interest, enjoyment, excitement. Remember, there are ups and downs. There's going to be days in your business where you're going to go in and you have customers that are happy and singing your praises. This is great. What you're doing is great. So as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, you want to be able to show that appreciation and have fun with it and run with the compliments. However, on the same day, you're going to have a customer that's very upset, that's complaining about it, that's going to go online and write some negative reviews. Part of being an entrepreneur is enjoying and being excited about that, being motivated about it, trying to reach out to that customer and see what we can fix or what we can do correctly to make sure that we don't lose your business. And there's going to be challenges of products running behind schedule. How can we overcome that? Having that excitement about it. So it's not always uphill. There's uphill and downhill. And through the whole thing, you love your business so much that you're enjoying it. A good example would be like if you have a baby. Well, guess what? There's times when the baby smiles in your face and you're so happy, but then there's times when you got to change their diaper and do other things. But because you love the baby, you do it with happiness and excitement, even though it might not be the best thing that you want to do at that point. Similarly with the business, there are going to be times where things are going your way. You want to accept it, be motivated, excited, enjoy it. There's going to be times when things are not going your way. But because you enjoy being a business owner, an entrepreneur, you're finding ways to overcome it and avoid it in the future, and how to make the best out of that situation. So number three is, the next step is determination. You're determined to get things done. Well, guess what? If Mrs. A and Mrs. B and Mr. C and Mr. D were able to make it, I can make it too. If they were able to succeed with this business model, I can succeed with it too. I might need to change a little things, but determination is very important for an entrepreneur. Next is resilience, the ability to stand up again. Every so often in business, no matter what you do, no matter how good you plan, things are not going to go your way. You want to be able to stand up and run with it again. One good example of that I really like is Miss Cochran, who is the kind of the one of the ladies on Shark Tank. Wonderful lady in real estate, one of the most successful real estate, runs one of the best real estate agencies in New York and maybe nationally, actually. Talks about her employees. And she said from day one, I can tell who's going to be the best real estate agent of that batch and who's going to be the worst. And they asked her, what's the difference? She said, well, they go through the same training. However, the worst person in the group is always the person that goes to sell a house. They do the showing, the open house, everything else. End of the day, the people look back at him and say, you know what? We don't want to buy this property. So what do? They get disappointed. They're hard on themselves. They go back to the office. They drop everything. They go home. Can't work for the rest of the day. I'll be back tomorrow. She said successful people are people that try and make that sale at an open house. And somebody says, I'm not interested. Well, absolutely. Here's my business card. If you think of anything else, let me know. They go back to the office and they call the next person. They're resilient. They got up fast and they're ready to run and overcome the next hurdle. Next is interpersonal skills. An entrepreneur must have interpersonal skills. Yes, I might be very good in what I do, but as an entrepreneur, I have to deal with people. I have to, bring in my customers. I need to be able to negotiate prices with my vendors and so on. So I need to be able to have that extra step, that extra connection, know more information about them, be able to reach out to them on a personal level as well and on a professional level that they want to deal with me and I want to deal with them, that they feel that they're welcomed in doing business, whether they're a vendor or a distributor or a customer or an employee, that you have that skill, that interpersonal skill. And some of us that don't naturally have it, there's different courses, there's different ways, but make it a focus that I want to build my interpersonal communications. Next is communications generally, that my communication needs to be very clear, whether it's written in forms of email, messages, social media, or speaking with people. It has to be very clear. Expectations have to be very clear. One of the worst things in business, especially from an entrepreneur, is the word I assumed. Assumptions causes failure. So you never want to assume, or you don't want other people to assume or to think. You want to spell it out very clearly. So part of an entrepreneur's communication is being very clear and effective in what they're trying to say. You don't have to put a lot of words or write a lot of words, but you want to be very effective and clear about your expectations. So people are not debating it or thinking or assuming. Next is management skills. Management skills means, again, with the human sources, with people, your staff, that you're able to manage them. Sometimes you have someone that works very hard, but they're quiet. You have someone that's kind of the squeaky wheel that's always complaining. And instead of dealing with people equally, I tend to attend more to the person that's always and I'm building bad habits because now I'm only attending to the one that's always complaining, even though they work less than the person that's quiet. No, as a manager, you want to be able to make sure everybody goes through the same training, everybody has the same expectations, everybody has the same path to success. As an entrepreneur, you also want to make sure you manage your resources, your finances in a proper way. You're not overspending in an area that you don't need, that's not a high priority, and underspending in things that are very important to the success of your business, and your time as well. You want to make sure you manage your time properly. In terms of time, you want to make sure that again, you're focusing your time as an entrepreneur on strategic plans. Where are we going to be 3 months from today, 6 months from today, rather than spending most of the time micromanaging. Why did you do this and why did you do that to your employees in matters where you could have trained them and give them some standards and SOPs, or a supervisor or manager could have done that while you focused on things that are more important. So management skills of people and your staff, and also of your resources, financial resources, your time, are very important to an entrepreneur. Another thing is decision-making skills. There's actually flowcharts and processes that help us in decision-making. But as an entrepreneur, I am the one that needs to pull the trigger and make the decision. A lot of times people, they love to think and overthink things. That's what we call paralysis by analysis. We start to analyze and overanalyze and look at all the different details. And when it's time to make that decision, I'm actually paralyzed because I'm overanalyzing. So paralysis by analysis. What we want to do is do our research, ask who we need to ask. But as an entrepreneur, I need to be very comfortable trusting my expertise, my knowledge, who I've consulted to make the right decision as needed. And then the ability to learn. An entrepreneur should have the ability to learn and unlearn. Again, I've thought it's always important to open a local store to sell this. And I've always wanted to buy a store, rent out a store so I can sell it and have my name written on the store. But guess what? Today, 60 or 70% of people that sell that product sell it online. If I'm trying to make money and succeed in my business, I need to unlearn everything that I know about the store, because where the real money is online. Or maybe this is the part of town that I've drove in and I would love to live in and love for my business to be in. But the reality is 80% of the business that where people buy this product is in the other side of town. So you want to be able to learn and unlearn things very quickly, because our focus is on the business succeeding, not just our emotions or our egos. So here are some of the things that an entrepreneur, some characteristics an entrepreneur should have. And I wish you guys the best of success in everything that you do.